You can do it. Yes, I'm talking about you. Whatever it is you want to do, you can do it. In order to be a successful truck driver, you have to be able to make money. But more importantly, you have to be able to keep the amount of money that you make, as much money as you make. A few years back, about 3.5 years ago, I was talking to this individual. He came up to me and he was asking me about how much an owner operator make. He was a company driver, and I told him I pay myself around $40,000. He was like, $40,000. He's like, man, I couldn't do that. It don't sound like being an owner operator is a good deal. I just stick with working, for this company driver. I mean, for this company he was working with. I tried explaining to him, but he just couldn't get the concept. He just couldn't understand. I guess I didn't break it down in a way in which he was able to understand. I told him that even though I pay myself $40,000, I make more money, spendable money, than you probably do as a owner operator. I mean, as a company driver. Of course, he didn't believe me, so I put it down on paper right here to explain. Let's say this is you the company driver on the left, and in the middle is me. I'm the owner operator. And on the right, this is my company business that the amount of money or income that I make, which I gross about $150,000. And my last video, I broke it down to show how much I made on a weekly basis. Let's see, where is it on here? I think I got it on here. Yeah. Okay. This is what I made. Made a copy of this back in April. I was talking to another individual about this as well. But I made a copy of, showed them all my weekly expenses. So as you can see right here, all my weekly expenses back in April. It's $400 right here. That was a week I was off, but this is a 6-week span. And out of the 6-week span, the most I made within that 6-week period was $4,117. Of course, with this company I'm working with now, the most I've ever made in 1 week was about $5,400. That's pretty tough to do, but we're gonna take the least amount of money that I made in this week. As you can see right here, $3,434.82. Let's round it to $3,400. So if you take $3,400, let's go to my calculation. $3,400 times 44, which is 44 weeks. That's 10 months out of the year. It's pretty much what I make, or pretty much what I do. I work 10 months and take off 2 months. So in that 10-month period, I can gross $150,000, or actually I can gross more than that if I hustle. I'm getting old, and I got to the point where I don't want to work as much. So anyway, if you want to give yourself a raise, of course you can do that. You can either work more weeks out the year, or you can hustle. Instead of making the $3,500 or $3,400, you can take it up to comfortably do $3,700 or even $3,900. It's $239. Let's punch that in the calculator and see how much that is. $3,900 times 44 weeks give you $171,060 in 10 months. And of course, like I said, you can want to give yourself a raise. You can work more out the year, or you can hustle and make more each week. But anyway, let's get back to the company driver and owner operator scenario here. Okay, back in 2020 is when I talked to this individual. So he made $85,000. Look on the left, $85,000. Compared to in the middle, I made $40,000. Paid myself $39,000. So I tried to explain to him the amount of money that you make, or The amount is not the amount is not about the amount of money you make. It's about the amount of money that you keep. So breaking it down, if you're making $85,000, that puts you in a 24% tax bracket. At a 24% tax bracket, you end up spending $20,400 in taxes for the year. And you deduct that from your $85,000 salary, that's going to bring you down to $64,600. Me, on the other hand, paying myself $39,000 put me in a 12% tax bracket. So 12% of $39,000 is $4,680, and you deduct that, and you come up with income of $34,320. So with this $39,000, this is a business expense. So my business get to deduct that. So I take $150,000 on the right here, and I subtract that from. I take the $39,000, which the company pays me, and I deduct that from the $150,000 of the total gross amount of money that the business make. So that put the business at $111,000. Okay, so let's go on. Let's move on. That year I bought a computer. I paid $1,200 for an Apple computer. So let's say an individual wanted to buy him a computer. So he buy a computer, that comes out of his personal income, right? So that's going to reduce his income down to $64,400. Me, on the other hand, the computer is a business expense. So that's not coming out of my personal income. I get to utilize my computer just like the anyone else, but as a business, you have advantages because you can take that and you can reduce your taxable income. So that reduces my business income from $111,000 down to $109,800. Okay, carrying on. You got to eat, right? Okay. Let's say you spend $1,000 a month on food, so that comes to $12,000 a year for food. Everyone has to eat, right? Me, as a business owner, I have to eat as well, but that's not a personal expense for me because your business gives you a per diem, and a per diem. What is a per diem? Okay, let's see what per diem. A per diem. Per diem or daily allowance is a specific amount of money that an organization gives an individual, typically an employee, per day to cover living expenses when traveling on the employer's business. So that's what I do. I travel for my employer, and my employer gives me a per diem. So that per diem is a write-off. So I use that for my food. I spend about $200, less than $200 a week, but we're gonna. It comes to $800 a month, but we're gonna round it up to $1,000. I mean, we're gonna round it up. Yeah, round it up to $1,000 a month. And of course, this is what, almost 4 years ago with inflation. So the expenses that I'm using on here is going to be a little bit different, but for the purposes of this video, we're going to just keep it to the expenses and the income that I did on this chart that I made a few years back. So, but anyway, as far as food, I get the per diem, so that's an expense, a business expense. So that goes to the company. That's not coming out of my personal. The company gives me 12, I think now it's $69 a day, but we're going to use 12,000 for the whole year, comparing to how much individual, the driver, expenses that he had for food as well. So when you do that, his 63,000 came down to 51,400. Hope this is making sense to you guys. I'm trying to break it down and make it as explain it as best I can. So anyway, Carry on. So my income is still 34,320 compared to the other driver's income of $41,400. Okay, and so using that, writing that 12,000 from the business expenses, the business income comes down to $97,800. Okay, now we have to have somewhere to live, right? Okay, the driver, he has a mortgage paying approximately $1,000 a month. That comes to about 12,000. Oh Lord. Sorry guys. Okay, like I said, we got to have somewhere to live. So the company driver, he had a mortgage, and he paid approximately $1,000 a month for his mortgage. So $1,000 a month, that comes to $12,000 a year, right? So you take $12,000 for the year, you deduct it from the $51,400 salary that he has, and that brings his salary down to expendable income down to $39,400 for the year. On the other hand, if you look at me right here in the middle, although I pretty much live out of my truck, I don't have a mortgage. Well, actually, I have property, but I have it rented out. So therefore, I don't pay a monthly mortgage. Actually, I get income. Being as a owner operator truck driver, it allowed me to be able to get a property and pay for the property. So I receive approximately $1,000 a month worth of income, rental income for this property that I have. So that boosts my income up to $12,000 for the rental income for the year. So I mean, it boosts my income from $34,320 to $46,320. But with property, I have additional tax advantage where I can write that off as well and be able to reduce that $12,000 to reduce my income further. But that's information for another video. Right now we just stick to this topic here. So being that I have this rental income, which is separate from the business expense. It's a business expense because it's rental income, but it's separate from my trucking business expense. So there's there's nothing left in that category right there in the business. So that's a big zero. So it brings my business income down to $97,800 because I can't reduce. Well, I can use that. Like I said, that's for another video. We won't talk about that. We won't get into that. But anyway, let's move on. So, okay, most people have a vehicle, right? Have a vehicle expense, and this the company driver, his vehicle, he had a vehicle. He said he paid approximately $500 a month for his vehicle. So you round that up to 12 months, it comes to about $6,000. Personally, I don't have a car expense. So under my category, that's a zero. So I bring my income down, and it still remains at $46,320. The owner, I mean not the owner, but the company driver, I brought his income down to $33,400. My income is $46,320. So we see where we're going here, comparing our incomes for the advantage of being an owner operator. So okay, let's go to the business side. On the business side, I have a vehicle. It's called a big truck. Basically, I use that big truck as I live in a truck. I use it as a vehicle to get around when I'm off. And but if I need to get a car to move around, I can either rent a car or borrow a car from a family member. But that's a choice. But if I needed to, of course I can go out and buy my own vehicle. But being that I'm running the road, I'm gone all the time. I don't have a need for a vehicle, so that's an expense I don't need. But I do have a truck expense. Well, at the time I did, and I was leasing my vehicle, my truck, and I was spending approximately $41,000 on to lease the vehicle throughout the year. So when you're leasing a vehicle, that's a total write-off. So that's a business expense that I get to deduct from my business income. So that reduces my business down to from 97,800 to 56,800. Okay, carry it on. Vacation. Most people take a vacation throughout the year, right? Okay, his individual, he spent. He said he spent about $2,000, approximately. We just rounding everything to make it easy, simpler for the illustration here. So we say he spent $2,000 for a vacation, and that brought his income down to $31,400. For me, yeah, I took a vacation, but it was a business expense because I used that as a opportunity to have a business meeting. So when you have a business meeting, your hotel and your travel expenses, all that is deductible. So I use that to reduce my taxable income, and at the same time, I took time off and used that as a vacation as well. So let's say we took $2,000 for my expenses and wrote that off as business and deducted to reduce my business expenses down to $54,800. Okay, carrying on. I took out a business loan, $12,000 business loan, and of course a business loan is deductible. So I took that and I reduced that down, my business expense down to $42,800. I have fuel costs, fuel expenses around 52,000. And so when I used that to reduce my taxable income, it brought the company down to a loss, a negative $9,200. And with an LLC, your taxable income transfers over to the managing partners of the business of the LLC. So being that I'm the only managing partner, so I use that negative amount of money that from the business, I use that to reduce my taxable income as well. So that brought my income down from $46,320 down to $37,120. So now let's compare that 37,000 of income that I made, I'm sorry, let's compare the initial 40,000 income to the 85,000 income that the company driver made, and we can see that in actuality my spendable income is far more than what his. So as you can see, but there's also additional expenses as well. But video is getting kind of long, so we'll go ahead and cut it. But you can understand and you can see. Hope that gives you more understanding of how a business can uh, be more of an advantage to you than working for someone else. So, all right. Having said that, thank you for tuning in and listening to my video. And in order to be successful, again, it's not about the amount of money that you make. It's all about the amount of money that you keep. And being a business owner, I have the opportunity to give myself a raise more than one way. I can either work more weeks in the year, or I can either increase my weekly income by hustling more, or I can do more and make uh, turn 150,000 gross into well over 200,000. As well as I have the opportunity to increase myself. I give myself a personal raise instead of making 39,000. I have the opportunity or the power to give myself a raise at any time. So anyway, I thank you for tuning in and watching my video. And we got more information to come. So more power, much love. I'll catch you on my next video. This is K.O.T. I'm out.